Welcome back. Well, there's the proof. There is an honest lawyer. The honest lawyer is in fact a country pub in Nelson, and this is a throwback in time to November 2022, late last year, when we were heading back up the South Island, heading to Auckland. Now we've come to leave Nelson now. We're heading south down State Highway 6, and we're going to cross onto 63 to go to a place called St Arnaud, where we kind of regrouped. And if you're wondering how we got here, well, stick around. I'm going to explain why it is that we're in Nelson and why we're just now heading to travel back down the very same road we rode up on a little bit early this morning, travelling about 100 kilometres out of our way and straight back down that road again. So hold on to your hats. We'll let you know how this all came to pass while seeing some fantastic looking scenery at the top of the South Island. We're in the middle of we're coming to the tail end rather, of a 10-day riding tour of the country. A couple of days in the North Island, most of the time spent in the South Island. And on our trip we had determined that we were going to stop at every Harley Davidson dealership that we could, barring one which was down in the deep south in Dunedin, Mackay and Veitch. We didn't make it down there, but every other one we went to, and we picked up a United We Ride HOG patch from the participating dealers. To get to Nelson, we had a little bit of a situation develop late in the piece. The problem was the normal access that we would have to Nelson from Picton, where the ferry leaves, is State Highway 6 across the top of the South Island. Now, due to some serious weather events they had at towards the end of last year, 2022, a lot of that road was actually closed. It was impassable. So we had to do a double around. We had to loop back down and then straight back along the same road to one, get to Nelson, and then two, get out of Nelson and over to Picton. So this is why we're doing this ride. Now, one of the results of this zigzagging around that we had to do on this particular ride meant that this day was the longest riding day that we had to do during a whole 10-day tour. We clocked up around 600 k's for this particular ride. We started the morning in Ross, where we had overnighted the night before. Left Ross about 7 o'clock, rode up to Greymouth. That's a distance of about 65 kilometres, so not terribly far. Had our breakfast, and then from Greymouth we rode through to Nelson, and that was around about 300 k's heading up through Reefton, Murchison and up that way. Another fantastic ride. Spent some time in Nelson. We saw the Harley dealership, then we went to the Honest Lawyer. We had a break in the sunshine, had some lunch and some refreshments, and then we hit the road. And the Nelson to St Arnaud section, which we're doing now, is around about 108 k's. After we got to St Arnaud, we had one final leg left, about 130 k from there through to Picton, where we overnighted, got some much needed rest before getting up early in the morning to head on the ferry and head back to the North Island. So there was quite a busy schedule during these few days, but I tell you, when you're riding on roads like this and seeing scenery like this and weather like this, everything is worth it. I tell you, everything. Now a little fun story about the place we're heading to, St Arnaud. I'd always presumed it was some kind of French connection, because the French did have a foothold in the South Island. But over on the east coast, a little bit south of Christchurch, a settlement called Akaroa still flies French flags all over the place. The French had a settlement there, but had to abandon it when the British really had laid claim to the whole country way back in time. Long story. Anyway, I thought that was some kind of French influence here, but there was not. It looks like St Arnaud was originally called Rotuiti, but it caused confusion because there is a number of communities around the South Island, apparently, certainly in the North Island, called Rotuiti. So a name was chosen, and out of the thin blue air they chose St Arnaud for reasons known only to themselves. 1921, the name was officially changed, and it was gazetted. And then in 1951 they made the official name change from Rotuiti to St Arnaud. So that's the story of the name, not French at all. Just somebody drew the name out of a hat and said, good enough. No one's going to be confused anymore, apart from people that think they're going to find a whole lot of French bakeries here. Anyway, that's my story. We're pulling into St Arnaud now, the rest area, where we laid the bikes up, gave a bit of a rest, had a bit of a drink, stretched our legs, and fought off some pretty decent sized mosquitoes. I'd have to say St Arnaud, I'll remember it very well for mosquitoes. Anyway, that's about that for now. Hope you've enjoyed this little trip back in time. Ride safe out there, take care, have fun. See you next week.
Bonjour.